All right, we're up against the legend, Mathismight. This time we went a little bit far in impersonation. We're impersonating a fake StarCraft 2 player. Um, we are back to changing our name just because I think at 2250 plus, I think you're gonna start getting matched with top 10, top 20, and telling them what you're gonna do is probably not fair for us. I think we just go with this, but I'm not sure. This could also be good. We have a pretty crappy pack here. Um, Meru. All right, so who do we go here? It's gonna be crawlers. Oh, it's got to be crawlers, right? But then, what do we do with our fangs? Do we leave them like this? Where's our chaff clear? Right? It's pretty bad. It's a horrible pack for us. Do we just go arc lights ever? I think we have to, right? It's either that or the hounds. How do we position this without going aggro here? Maybe like this? Yeah, this is weird. This is really weird. Not in a good way. I think we have to almost go arc lights. It's really weird how we're going to position these guys. Mathismight is now at sub 2300, which is pretty not fair. He's certainly over that level most of the time. To be fair, though, Mathismight has us on his friends list, so he should know who we are. That being said, he didn't. We haven't played him quite a while, and usually he would go for the tanks. Um, Not the greatest tower timing. Usually we go for why are we favored here? There's no way. um, okay. So I think we go for another round without going for the. We can almost go for a few wasps just for fun here. Let's do it. Let's go for a few wasps. Just for fun, just to make it look like we're not going for our Phantom Ray spam thing. Right. And could go for another Arc Light. Could go for another Wasp. Either way. Could sell out of this. I don't know. It's probably not the greatest idea to start selling out. Prefer to go for another Arc Light. Another Wasp is probably pretty good, though, too. Do we just float the 100? Do we get a tower level? I think we float here. So he's Fire Badger. Okay. Second Fire Badger here, Arclight here would be amazing, but the wasps are actually pretty good for mass produced. We definitely don't get any more wasps, I think. And it's just going to be Phantom Ray time after this. So we're really selling the story that we're not the Phantom Ray master. Otherwise, we would have just gone Phantom Rays, but we're really trying to add deception into our build a little bit. This isn't going to end well for us here. Okay. get the drop. No fire, unfortunately. Void Eyes. This could be pretty good. Void Eyes could be halfway decent. Probably better off with this or this. The Raiden, I don't know about the Raiden. Sandworm could be good for a cheese, but I highly doubt we want to do that. I think we just go for the cell. At this point, I wonder if he's going to go for some, like, well, we kind of need to go for Vulcan to set his board on fire. So a lot of things we need to do. But I think the first step is just to reveal ourselves as the Phantom Ray. Okay. It's very awkward. Go for the oil. There's no way to set him on fire at this point. Though he does run the risk of setting himself on fire. I think we want to go for... We could upgrade this. We'll just plan to sell out next round. It's going to do too much damage. Just get a tower level, maybe. Okay, so he sells out. He's ready for the Phantom Rays. Inadvertently, he's ready for it because we go for the Wasps. I think we want to now go for some kind of fire move next round. I think it's probably going to be a it's probably going to be a fully paid for unlocked Vulcan. Can we get his Phoenixes here, or nope? Ion Blast is too good. I think we have to go for it, or even the Orbital. Probably even better. I think we just go for this. Maybe we don't even go for the Fire Ignition now. And we'll just continue to build our Phantom Rays at this point. Maybe go for Shield in the Phantom Ray, in case we're worried about the the spell. But we need Chaff Clear. I think we put it here just to avoid the orbital. Okay. Instantly into boats. It's not good to see. We need to go Phoenix instead of the shield, but that could have been a pretty bad mistake here. Wasn't expecting him to go for the boat immediately. Kind of forgot he's the boat master. But we needed kind of the shield also for the orbital, but maybe we were kind of maybe we were overplaying that. Too bad we couldn't get this. And now we're going to go Phoenixes and some kind of fire here. Let's see. I think we just go for an oil. We're going to need to have more than one ignition source though. I'm worried this isn't going to quite ignite everywhere, so it's going to be a problem, but don't really know what else to do other than this. HE is halfway decent to see. Means we can kind of go for the boat finisher. Now the HE doesn't do anything to the boat, or it does a lot less, 40%. Some flanks here would be devastating. And he should see this coming. But 3 boats in one area like that is it's definitely not good for us. I think we finish him off with the factory play here. Heart's kind of pounding, to be honest. This is as top tier of a player as it gets. Orbital's good for him. It's also good for us, but do we just skip and go for the... We can't really skip, that's the problem. We really can't skip here, so we're gonna have to... Electromag is interesting here too. I think we could consider the Electromag, actually. But we don't want to actually disable his boat if we go for... We don't have money to go for the factory, that's the first thing. So we're just going to try to disable his boats a little bit. Go for the Phoenix. Go for charge shot on the Phoenix. Why do we have rejuvenation here? Doesn't matter too much, but should be shield instead. Go for the oil now. We already have the oil. So what else do we go for here? Could go for this. Probably not going to do anything. Could just go for these specs, but I don't know. Maybe we go for range instead. Yeah, it's not what we wanted to see for sure. The charge shot Phoenix isn't great because of the range issue. All right, now it's going to start swinging in his favor by far. We are weak to the wasp production. Okay. We're going to also be weak to this, but I think we... it's kind of bad, everything here. But this is I think it's GG now for him. For us, I mean. Ooh, I don't know. Let's go for the sandworm. Sell out of 1 sandworm. Go for the factory. This is it's pretty much GG for us. To get the oil available. Could kind of just try to tank here. Maybe you know, get the oil down here. And we'll borrow for sure. Go for the range, probably speed. Maybe try to create a distraction here. Probably missile something, but don't know what. All right, sprinkler tech. Wasp production, that's something we're not able to deal with. You have the EMP wasps, but it's not that amazing. You even got shield on the wasp here, which is super annoying. That being said, he you know, is kind of losing one side. Okay. More wasps come out, which is going to be really helpful. He's got 1500. Can we? I don't think we can. I don't think we can beat him for 1500 though. And then oh man, we might even lose this round. So it's gonna be bad to continue fighting him. Oh man. Okay, well, it's really good that we got him to this level. The advantage. Can we go for mobilized battleship here? Is that gonna work in terms of cheesing him? Hmm. Kind of feel like we have to here. It's our only real shot. And at this point, we probably sell out of this. Try to go for another war factory, maybe. Or just, I mean, we could click that, but I think at this point, I mean, we could click range, but the problem is really we need Mustangs now to deal with the aerial spec Mustangs now. To deal with his wasp spam. Getting range is good here also for us, but maybe not necessary. So that leaves us with no real techs available. Just try to missile things to prevent the, to get some of his extinguishers gone. And he does go for the correct move here. Now the question is, are we able to get the tower from a cheese here? And it's quite good that we went for this because it's pretty much our only hope. Maybe this is the winning play here. I mean, how much air units do we have though? Not much. But we do have some phoenixes here. And we do get another debuff. I think before he gets his debuff. So heart's pounding. It's looking good for us, to be honest. Looks like we won this. Wow. Heart is kind of pounding. That was not easy. I regard Mathismight as the best player against our Phantom Ray strategy. So to get a win is for us, one of the highest things that one of our highest achievements. Obviously, we relied on the cheese. I don't think we can win without that cheese at all. And at least we played it correctly with the Mustang. He got an amazing drop for himself that but we were able to fix it with, I think the missiles probably did something, and just the missiles did a lot actually. So yeah, that was quite lucky. I was thinking about, the first thing I was thinking was we need to just put another war factory down here, click photon, because we need to double down. But then I thought, well, wait a second, we need to deal with the wasp production. So we had to do this no matter what we were going to do. And I would have loved to get range on the Phoenix. Let's see what actually did the damage. Was it the Phoenix? They did do a lot. Surprisingly, the Mustangs did more than Phoenix. That's super surprising. It's surprising this one Mustang did nothing. Not sure why. Maybe it just got taken out too quick. But it probably still killed some wasps based on the kill count. The Phantom Rays at the end there, completely useless. The shield was our mistake. We should never go shield against Mathismight because he's always going to go for the boats. And yeah, the factory worked because he clicked HE. So if you didn't click HE, I think we don't go for factory. And even here, there's a reason why we didn't put it here. All in all, that was crazy. Let's take a look at the analysis. All right, so I think we made some mistakes here. We must have made some mistakes. So, you know, he lost a lot by going. I think he lost a lot by going. Let's see what happened. So, round 4, he transitioned into the boat, and that costed him way too much. So he's Fire Badger spec. Had he known who we were, he probably would have went for some kind of probably would have went for the like some kind of giant spec or something just to get the boats online, which is why we choose to hide our names here, because to give him an extra 200 resources, you know, for a normal player, sure, but for arguably the best player in the world, you know, do they deserve to get 200 extra resources against us? We're just a mere mortal, right? All right, so we still win this round, right? And I think we could have won it a lot harder, but what did we do here? We went for oil and we went for the Vulcan, so we absolutely had to do that. That's not something that's not an option. That's just a requirement. And we start losing here pretty badly. We're one step away from death on this round, so I think this is the round where we kind of messed up. Let's see what would happen here. So we went for Phoenix's charge shot. Now, I don't know how we messed that up, because I think in retrospect, I still want to go Phoenix's here because there's nothing that's going to kill the boats. You know, we have the cheap wasps, and I love the cheap wasps. I think that's now after this, it looks like we always go for cheap wasps early, and you know, if it's an option on round 2 and we get 3 mass-produced wasps, right? It just, for the value, it's absolutely insane. And also it's like it makes him click HE, and if he clicks HE, then that makes him way worse against the boats. So I think he only clicks HE if he's up against the wasps. That's my opinion. So getting wasps to bait the HE is good, and you know, not teching the wasps obviously after that is important. The damage is 3,000, so but it fires 4 times, so even if it has shield, I mean, it will still kill pretty much the Phantom Ray. I think for 4 hits, you know, especially with HE, it'll kill multiple Phantom Rays. All right, so now we went for Phoenix, and we want to know why the Phoenix was bad, and if there's anything else we could have done. All right, so Phoenix, maybe we got caught up in the, you know, maybe we should have went range. Maybe we got caught up in the spell. So I don't know. Think we go for attack here. Sell one of these guys. Maybe another, maybe defense. There's not much we can do. Maybe just a random missile here. Okay, so this is the best way we can, I think we can position our Phoenixes. So, and we also went for range instead. Now, I don't think range is necessary because we already outrange him by so much, and we have so many things in front. So I just want to see what was the actual mistake here, if there was any mistake at all. Now, if we went for charge shot, the Phoenix, these guys would have been dead, right? It looks like we might, you know, we'll lose with, yeah, the HP buff. The HP nerf is pretty significant. So we lose by 800 there. Now, of course, if the Phoenix flies into orbital, we can't blame ourselves for that. I don't think we went orbital. I think we went for this, which is a lot less effective. So I think that was the mistake. That was the first mistake. He has a lot of chaff. We cannot assume that we just kill everything. So that's the first mistake. We could also just try elite recruiting these guys, like 3, and give them range that way. But then we have to borrow. This way we still preserve our range, and we still go for You know, still get a damage buff, but borrowing I think is probably out of the question here because we want to eventually go for the factory. So he's got, you know, he's got the fast shoot overlord and the, maybe the EMP was better because I don't know. So now with the range, it's looking quite good here. We're pretty much able to win this. But elite recruiting phoenixes is not something that's usually part of our game plan. It makes way more sense usually to just click charge shot. So why don't we try the EMP? The EMP didn't seem horrible in retrospect. Doesn't look like we'll get all three, so we'll just, you know, we'll just get this. And we'll go for the normal charge shot. We'll be sure to position everything so it doesn't go into the thing. And okay, so got a lot of money here. Let's get one tower level, an attack, sell out of something. We went for range here, which I'm not sure. I think now looks like kind of like a mistake here. All right, so we can click range. Let's see if that's a mistake or not. Maybe get a tower level. Let's just see how this works. You know, the range is just because we're scared of getting sniped by the overlord, but I don't know if we need to be, because he just needs to light the fire once. After that, it's kind of just dead anyways. And I mean, it still does a lot here if you look at this, right? So, but what happened to our phoenixes here? They're all gone. This kind of looks pretty similar to the original, but somehow we were able to tank that a little bit longer. All right, so let's try the same thing, except for with the elite recruit. I mean, there's a couple questions here. Do we need range on the overlord? I mean, on these guys, 300, right? And also, is this a good idea, or do we need the spell, the orbital? So a couple questions, right? And I'm not sure, like, and what about elite recruiting the phoenixes with charge shot, right? That's also another scenario. I think the phoenixes, they need the charge shot like immediately. And at this point, they are okay. They're not one-shotting them, but they're kind of getting close. Okay. So we borrow here, but let's just say we don't. Let's just say we don't use the money from the borrow, or let's just say we get a level here. We won't even go for temp range. So to set the initial fire, we do not need range. And there's absolutely nothing here on this side. We're really weak on this side for some reason. But it seems like our phoenixes are quite strong here on the other hand. But it's still not enough. So it kind of looks like range isn't the range isn't necessary. And it looks like that the correct response is actually level 2 phoenixes with elite recruit, which is something I have not ever done before. So we will need to, looks like we will need to borrow here. is not great, but I think it's in these kind of situations, it's probably okay. Because, you know, the game's going to last maximum 2 more rounds. It's probably ending this round with a loss from our end. So borrowing is completely fine. He even borrowed this round. Now, you could see here, this range actually is better than the charge shot into the Phoenix, which is not something I usually... I mean, if we had maybe more of a front line, then I could see this being... then I could see charge shot working. So I always thought you click charge shot first. But now I could see that the range is better. But level 2, it's just not going to work in level 1 Phoenix. We'll retry it with the level 1 Phoenix with the EMP. Now we know nothing's gonna work on the left side, but why would we put like you know, putting this here is already cheating because we know he's got stuff here. Usually would put it here, but it would just die. So, all right, all this money left over. I mean, got to do something with it, right? So what do we do? It's kind of the problem. We have almost too much money. Do we just click range here, or do we just try this without range? Let's go for the tower. Let's go for maybe EMP. It's worth 100, and I don't know. Maybe temp tower range. We almost get one, let's get one boat here. Luckily, we put the level on the tower. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough. We actually need the additional damage, because these guys are pretty chunky monkeys. That being said, because we have range, we're able to kind of pick this up. So... all right, I think that's the answer here. We need range over charge shot first when we're dealing with mass overlords, and we also need to go for the level 2. And this is completely new. I always thought it was just level 1 with this. Now the only thing we didn't try here is, what about level 1 charge shot, but with the temp tower range instead? Like, is that enough to make a difference? Okay, we'll get a level here. Get the attack, get the EMP. All right, and I think also you know, because he has forward units, we do not need to have range. We also have chaff in front. I mean, of course the chaff dies, but you could see here they are getting targeted now, or actually, so that didn't work out too well on this side. On this side, it looks like it's got a little bit more potential. What ends up happening? The range is 110. He's got 100. So theoretically, we can get a shot off, and I think the perfect tower timing kind of works, but it's still not as good as the still not as good as their level 2 with range. So, all right, let's just keep that in mind. So, you know, we put, it doesn't cost that much. It's plenty possible. Round 7. So we're desperate here. We go for the factory. We win by 1200, almost enough to finish him. But I mean, could we have played this round better? I mean, I think the last round was just absolutely amazing for us. We couldn't have asked for a better end result. And I think it was, I wouldn't have been surprised if we just completely got shut down. So I don't know what happened there, but you know, maybe call it luck, maybe call it something else. But yeah, it's definitely better than I would have imagined. Like that last round was as good as I could dream of. Okay, so we put it here. What about a beacon, right? Is the question. I mean, he does have dogs everywhere, but like, what if we beacon this? Like, no, he's not likely to have stuff here. I mean, he's likely to have stuff here, or I don't know. Like, I've seen, you know, the rat make plays with the beacon, so you know, I want to be like the rat here. So I guess okay, we don't have quite the money to do this in the entire way, so we have to choose our techs. I think we can only go for this and this. I don't know if this is going to work here, but let's say we go from here. We need to drag him like up and like a little bit over. So kind of like here. And he's going to be right at the tower right there, right? Then, you know, then he can go like more like this way. So let's see how good this beacon is. So there's nothing here. He's gonna wait. How come this beacon doesn't work? Does it need to clip more of the war factory? How come it's not moving? I thought you just had to like touch it. But it's kind of surprising how we're actually winning this side without actually needing the war factory. Like, how's this even happening? And it looks like we win a lot harder here. Like, what did he? Is this replay bugged? I think probably. So there's no way that we all of a sudden win so easily. No, he's got the fire extinguisher. Like, so how did this happen? Okay. Was it just because this guy went here? Oh, that would be so interesting if it was. 'Cause I always thought you wanted them to be like going in together, like stacking one side. All right, so we'll try this beacon thing again. And maybe let's keep an eye on this. I mean, I thought it just pretty much gets one shot by the, but maybe not. Not if it's doing like splash damage, right? Still. Okay, so I mean, how come this doesn't drag? Like, does it need to be like this? Okay. Go for this. Go for 200. What is that, Mectiv? I don't know. Do we click Mectiv here? I don't think it makes a difference. And I was thinking actually we need this here too, right? This is what I was thinking. Could just go for the upgrade here. Could go for a defense. Wait. Let's go for the armor. I forgot here. All right, so it's not going to move because there's something inside the beacon, but now it should move, right? Like, there's nothing in here, right? I don't quite understand how the beacon thing works. It looks like here we lose hard. We do get the tower quicker. So it looks like the way we played it was probably like the worst possible way here. We'll see. I mean, the HE is actually I'm really happy to see HE here because it just makes them die quicker. Yeah, so not enough to kill them. Now, what if we just stuck to? Can we ever go sandworms, like instead of with Mectiv? instead of going for the factory. Like, is this like the new factory 2.0 thing? And do we beacon it? Do we beacon it to the do we beacon it to the tower is the other question. So I don't know, maybe put one extra here, but they're all going here, right? We get 2 here, 2 and 3 maybe, and we'll go for this, and I think we go for this speed. Sell out of maybe this guy, and we'll get an upgrade here. Yeah, so let's see what happens with this. I mean, if this could work, then this is our like War Factory 2.0 play. And we're only discovering this on accident just because we realized actually, oh my god. So actually the sandworms are now tanking for the for the air army. Right? It's in the same way that the War Factory is tanking. The War Factory is better, obviously, because it attacks the ground units, but you're not always going to be able to get off War Factories. And clearly, this is better than the War Factory. These sandworms with Mechabellum are absolutely insane. All right, now we've accidentally learned something that never has even occurred to us. Like, sandworms are good against this? How is... I always thought that, like, overlords are good into sandworms, but the thing is, we have the sandworms, they're not doing anything. They're just tanking. So if you look at it from that perspective, then you can understand, okay, it could be, you know, it could be good, right? So we will try something else now. We'll try to go for the sandworm bundle. And we're not going to put it up here necessarily. We're just going to put it more in the back. And I guess this is called the sandworm blender. And maybe we'll start it from here. Okay, we'll go for this. And we'll just have them go here. Put down the oil, which I guess is for the fire. And I mean, okay, we can still go for range and speed. And let's see what happens here. Is this going to be even more effective than spreading out the sandworms? Because, you know, most people would say you should bundle your sandworms in one big pocket. Now keep your eye on this side here. See how well we're doing here, or I mean how poorly we're going to be doing here, compared to how well we'll be doing here. Obviously, the risk is we lose our tower and then we lose everything, but it looks like the bundle does kind of make sense in certain ways, like, you know, we definitely win one side. However, now if you look here, this is not quite ideal here, right? Still win, I think, just barely. Or it's okay, so we slightly lose. So okay, let's try this bundle maybe from a different angle. Like, or let's try, maybe we're committing too much onto that one side. And yeah, maybe we just put them like here, and then we, you know, we'll shoot 3 over there. Then we'll just have 2 coming over here. Okay. I think this is perhaps gonna go. It's gonna go here onto the left side. We have our 3 worms going here to the right. Our air army is starting to get targeted, but which leads me to wonder, like, do we need the worms even further up? But let's see what this one worm does. It seems like the worm synergizes really well with the EMP wasps because it kind of allows them to get EMP'd a little bit. Somehow, this tower gets through before this tower does. All right, so they're both good. Maybe the beacon isn't completely necessary. I would love to experiment more with like maybe like the strike ability or the armor, or even the replicate. But does that do anything? You know, especially at double tech, I think I just prefer another sandworm. So I mean, unless there's something that we I mean, on the ground, really, what does this do? It increases attack 30%, does a little bit more splash. So I mean, usually it's replicate, right? Or the usually it's replicate. We definitely take this. The armor is going to be completely useless. We'll try the strike just for fun. So we'll have 2 here, 2 here. Do the oil again. We do a beacon. All right. So this is pretty far forward. This is a few squares in front of the Phantom Rays. So pretty much, if we had crawlers, they would be on the front line as in front of the first crawler almost. I just love how much they're tanking. I think actually the armor could even be better than this first strike ability. Like the first strike, what does it really do? It cleans some of the ground. But what we really need is like tank ability here. So I don't know if this is strong enough to the point where we just unlock the worm and just like go for it. So we did less damage there. And we could try it again with the armor. I think though the armor is not super amazing. Armor gives them 50%. Yep. I mean, 50% is basically 2 extra worms. So that's better than 1 extra worm, I think. So maybe it is armor. And mathematically speaking, the math is right that the 50% is worth 2 worms, but and it looks like that is true here. Certainly it's better than the first strike ability. Yeah, actually it did quite amazing. I think we definitely want to keep these guys kind of forward. We don't want them to be too far back because, I mean, what benefit? Like, we want them to tank. They don't do a lot of damage, but they tank a lot. Is there any argument to doing this with like level 2 sandworms? Because you think about the math and on that perspective, it's even more efficient. So I don't know. Could do one worm here, one worm there, kind of thing. Think we want the speed. I'm not 100% sure. Did the beacon even do anything though? Like I think I'd rather take the armor, but I don't want to mess this up without going for speed, so try the speed. You can argue that we need two level 2 worms on this side because there's way more damage on this side. So we don't even have range on the Phoenixes. So what we said before about the extra range, may not even be valid if you have the sandworms, because sandworms are basically the range. In this case, it didn't look that good in this case. I don't know why. Because the math would say that the level 2 sandworms are better. They have more HP. Is it just because we didn't beacon it? Like, I don't think so. Pretty crazy that we discovered this accidentally. We really weren't trying to go sandworms. I'm not sure if the beacon is necessarily the most important thing. I mean, we could just try the beacon just to make sure it wasn't the beacon that messed us up. And I think also you can make an argument for splitting up the worms. I'm not sure if the splash, 14. You would think maybe they even splash, like you hit one and you splash the other one. I don't think so, but it doesn't look like that's the case actually, but it's, so something I would certainly keep in mind. Doesn't look like a huge difference even if you beacon or not. But it doesn't look like we have that much left over. In fact, I think we even lose here. For some reason. Almost lose. So let's just try, like, this is what we would probably do given that we play so symmetrically. Given what we've learned so far. We probably wouldn't go for a beacon. Probably would just go for this and just spread everything out. So we have it like on the line pretty much. Yeah, this is the way I think it looks really neat. It looks really symmetrical. I think this is how we would normally try to play this. The beacon, whatever. I think it doesn't make that much of a difference. Maybe the armor is a big deal. I'm sure this is probably the biggest deal, is to even more than the armor, is just something that can kill them quicker, like this. It's amazing that, the things that's killing all these guys is just the Phoenix. Right? We have to keep that in mind. Everything else is dead, pretty much. Phantom Rays are not surviving because they have the worst range. So now we have an even spread. 3 here, 2 here. There's no beacons. They're kind of spread out a little bit more, which means, maybe more of the boats are kind of, they're split up. They're not targeting necessarily everywhere. And it looks like it indeed is the best way to do this layout here. I'm surprised that it even worked with the Wasp production. Yeah, see? So this is the best way to play. Now, does it make sense to play it more back? I don't think so. Like, what does that do? Like, everything's engaging already at the same time. Like, by the time this thing gets visible, like, maybe it's, Maybe it needs to be more forward. Maybe not. I mean, that we can try. But I don't think going more back is necessarily good. It looks like this is, and then we'll go back to the other round, and we'll also see if this actually works. So we had it like here, I think. You know, so something like, you know, we had it here. So we had it like halfway up on the, now let's say we put it on the same line as the Vulcan instead. So 2 more squares up. I doubt we really put it any more forward. And this is pretty forward already for us. The more forward the sandworms are, the less that the boats start taking shots at the at our air units. But then the faster they die, and then the faster the boats retarget our air, like right here, like this guy here. So I think the okay still works. I think we have to give credit to the level 2 Phoenix here. It's done the most damage. It's pretty much killed 2 boats by itself. And I think this is going to do a little bit less. Let's see. Yeah. So just those 2 squares is 800 damage less in HP, and that could be pretty bad. Like now, what if we tried to move it 2 squares back? Let's see what that does. So, you know, well, let's say we're super conservative. We want to have things behind the tower. And you know, the crawlers will be pretty much here usually. So this is kind of how we would position it. Okay, everything's neat. Everything's on the same line. We'll upgrade this guy. And now let's see what happens. Because the sandworms have to pop up when they're in melee range, they actually, you know, you could see the shots here. So they're already starting to land. They're on the Phantom Rays. They're landing on the, now this guy's targeting the sandworm. Here it's looking still okay. Looks like the EMP is actually not quite working here, as well as we've seen it in the past, but kind of doesn't matter. Like here it looks like this was almost good for us. Here it doesn't look that great, but still not bad. Like the more forward it is, it looks like the worse it is, right? Because it just does nothing. Looks like the optimal, you know, the optimal amount was actually where we had it, like 2 squares back, which means, so the positioning here would be the best positioning we found. So this is 3 squares in front of the Phantom Ray, and this is assuming, like, let's say we put a crawler down. So let's say we put a crawler down, right? So, okay. So this is the normal crawler position. I mean, this is the normal Phantom Ray position. And of course now our Mustangs, our Wasps, our Phoenixes are always on the back line now. This is part of our build. So let's try to keep this in mind. So we're putting this pretty much like halfway, half in front of the crawler, you could say, or you could just say 3 squares behind, in front of the Phantom Ray. So 3 squares, 4 squares, something like that. You could try 4 squares just for fun. Because you know, and then, you know, what also worked was having it back. Back was good too, right? The only thing that didn't work was too forward. So back was good. So now we could try something more crazy. We could try everything. Don't think we have time here. We could try everything continuously putting it back, and let's just see at what point. I mean, I think we've already discovered the point that, like, it does less damage, but out of curiosity, let's just see how far we can push it. and just see how much HP we end up losing as a result. So we tried it here. This is the best way. We tried it here. That I mean, still worked, but that was quite bad. And then we tried it here. This was still good, but we lost like, you know, I think we did 1700 here. So why don't we just try it here on the same lines as the Phantom Ray? Try to keep all the positionings. We can't really put the positioning here, so for this one, it's got to be, well, we could put it here. All right, we'll put this here. Put this guy here. And here, I guess this guy's gonna have to be here. Okay, so everything else is the same. If the sandworms were always visible, then yes, you would put them directly in front of the Phantom Rays because they're always in front. But because it takes time for them to pop up, you actually have to anticipate that, and that kind of changes the calculus a little bit. And so looks good, but it's not amazing. All right, so now we start to just barely win. So I think this is all about how to position this. One last thing we could try, because we've already determined that the position is perfect between like this is the best positioning so far. So it's just a matter of like, do we go up or down by 1 square? And so far we've seen that like going, I don't know, like it seems like going back is better than going too far forward. Like being a little bit further back is better than a little bit too far forward, for some reason. Okay, so this is how we had it before. This is the optimal position. I think clicking speed is, I mean, you know, maybe clicking speed is also something we need to think about. Like, but I don't want to make this like a 10-hour video where we also try with and without speed. I think it's usually probably go for speed, that, you know, maybe. But I guess without speed, then there could be, these guys could be maybe, I mean, they travel at the same speed, so it's still the same distance. It's just that when it kind of goes forward, like, you know, maybe it's, you can, you know, without speed, you can have a closer of a gap because by the time the distance is covered, it works out a little differently. So I think now it's just, is it 1 square up or 1 square down? All right, I think now this is the only question here. So I think at this position, we're talking exactly 4 squares in front of the Phantom Ray. I mean, we just love how this thing looks. Like everything is just EMP. This is just absolutely, you know, this is so beautiful here to see this. Okay, so 22, 23, so pretty similar to the default. Looks like, you know, 1 square, 2 square, it's fine. There's a certain range where it doesn't matter too much. We tried this, we tried 1 square up. They're both similar, but this is better. Now we'll try 1 square down. So now this is 2 squares in front of the Phantom Ray. The last replay, the last test was 4 squares. Obviously, getting another Phoenix here would be great too. The thing is, now with the sandworms, you don't need range on the Phoenixes anymore, because there's so many things in front that have good range. I'm actually pretty surprised that we never even occurred across. You could see here, nothing's getting EMP'd because it's too far back. I mean, we still win, I think, but it's not looking so great. You could just tell, you know. So that's not good at all. All right, so to recap, the worms are best when we put them right here. So this is 3 squares in front, at least in this specific situation. Do it once more just for verification purposes. And multiple level 1 worms seems to be the best. No beacon needed. No and the spread probably is even better if we put it here, but let's try to keep this without a million different possible variables here. Generally, more forward is kind of better because then it just makes sure our air army is a bit safer. But then it just tanks a little bit too much. You can see here, we already took a shot to their air army. Interestingly here, we're not seeing a bunch of EMPs land, so I feel like the previous placement was slightly better when we see the EMPs land. All right, so I think now it's I'm gonna have to go back into this video and watch it again myself to see all the positionings, but it's probably 2 squares up, right? It's probably just 2 squares up. This is what we tried before. I think that kind of just, we need something that's easy to remember. Like 3 squares up is kind of awkward. 2 squares up, 4 squares up is pretty good. See, we don't see the EMPs landing, which is not good. Like, maybe it should have been 4 squares up, no, not 2 squares up. Because it doesn't look that amazing. There was that one time where everything was all sparkling with EMPs. Yeah, so 1700. Okay, so maybe it is, maybe it's 4 squares up. I'm sorry. Just that we tried this so many times, and I'm losing track of what exactly what exactly is good, what exactly is bad. But this is a huge new development for the Phantom Ray strategy. So I think it's pretty important that we spend a little bit of time on this to make sure. All right, so 4 squares up. That kind of makes sense, and it makes sense from the perspective that we'd rather the sandworm get targeted a little bit earlier than you know, get our air units targeted a little bit earlier, because our air army is kind of, it's very, very susceptible. You know, it's very, very weak. Okay, so now this guy's back onto the air army. Still no EMPs everywhere, but that looks, at least looks better than the 2 squares up. All right, it's not bad. All right, 4 squares up is not bad. Okay, so we'll take a break from this round, and let's take what we've learned here and apply it to the other round. So we went for the factory. I think, you know, we were super lucky to win. I think he's perhaps on a little bit of a bad streak. You know, again, he was, you know, already under 2300 for a player of that caliber. It's, you know, he shouldn't be really under 24. So what happens if we just sell out of this now? And then, I mean, I don't know what we can do here. Like, I don't know if this is still viable to try this. So 4 squares up is what we kind of decided on. And I think we need some missiles though. Surely this is not going to work on the last round. So we could try it on the round bit before, but this is just more out of curiosity. Like, if this was able to work better than the War Factory, I'd be super surprised. Yeah, I mean, we change our name to the Worm Master if this actually works. It might actually work. Wait a second. Are you serious? No way. All right, we're gonna change our name to the Worm Master. This is crazy. How does that even work? And what if we tried like the? I mean, I think it's always better not to try the crazy cheese, like the blender or whatever. I mean, does it make sense to go for multiple techs of just level 1 instead? We go for this. We can go for armor, maybe. I mean, armor, it makes it 1.5. Maybe we even go for the replicate. So 4 squares up from the Phantom Ray. Probably need an extra one here because the army is more substantial. All right. Part of me is thinking the armor doesn't make sense because we kind of tried it. Like, I think, you know, it doesn't do so much unless he's got heavy Mustangs. But for Mustangs, you know, it might actually be pretty good. The replicate. All right, so I think this is where it stops working. Like, all those useless techs, no good. So don't go for the crazy techs. Like, I think the one simple tech is pretty good. And it actually may even counter like the response to the War Factory. That's the crazy thing. That's the 1-2 that we like, you know, we don't really have a pivot from the War Factory, but it now looks like we do. Um, Man, this is so good. Um, I don't think we necessarily need to go for the blender because we kind of tried. It doesn't make a huge difference. What else can we do here? I think the missiles. Yeah, I think not going to missiles was the problem. We need to missile as much of his army as we can, especially the extinguisher dogs. It's kind of his fault for making them so exposed. That being said, yeah, I don't think this missile's gonna land. It's gonna land on the Overlord here. Yeah. I think the worms also might counter the dogs a little bit because it makes them stop in their tracks. It doesn't necessarily make the fire continue, which is kind of our problem. Yeah, this is just too good. It's unbelievable. All right. So I think this is it's probably like the most important lesson we've had in months, maybe, because we're always doing the same thing. Because we haven't really figured out what else we can do. But through just an accident here, I was saying to myself, I was like, how come we're winning this round? And it was because the worm we left here, we just kind of forgot about it. Um, so now this round, we decided that we were going to go for the Phoenix, right? So why don't we go for the worm, right? I mean, now the answer is, we don't care about we don't care about the war factory anymore. The worm is the new war factory. Um, why do you want to click that? Probably. I mean, we want more than one though. That's the problem. We want three, but we can't really afford to sell anything. So maybe it's yeah. We can sell this. I don't think we can sell much more. I mean, we could sell Phantom Ray, perhaps. The Phantom Rays aren't doing that much. We do this. We don't get the range though. We'll try the four squares up again. It kind of makes sense. 2 and 1. And theoretically, based on what we've tried in the earlier rounds, this should win, right? With no need for additional phoenixes. But I think what we fail to realize here is that the phoenix is the back line. I think we lose here because we just need phoenixes. I mean, there's no way that the phantom ray is going to is going to be like right here. You could see the phoenixes will still be shooting, but now that the worms they're all over the place, you know, I mean, they're going for the tower, which is great, but we also need to think about, hey, you guys have to tank. Guys have to take the damage for for the boats here, and we don't have any source of damage for the boats, but you could see that it's very close. Like maybe one phoenix is enough here, but I think also the shield obviously was a mistake. We could have went for all these phoenixes, all these phantom rays were a mistake. We should have just went for like three phoenixes instead, and then we could do the worm play. So I think we always just go for like three phantom rays, three phoenixes. Then we have the worm play available for the boat. Because now we kind of don't have the ability to do both here. I mean, um, really, like it's I don't think we can win this because it's Phoenix with the worm, right? That's what it is. The Phantom Rays are just doing the oil. They're acting as chaff, but you're better off with cheap wasps to act as chaff. The wasps can do EMP as well. Phantom Rays they don't do so well into the boats anyways. They require like a million shots. So you know it was a mistake for us to go for the shield, and we will take a look at that round too. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, we know he's gonna go boats. I mean, I just thought we fooled him. No. So we win here, which by going oil. So we had to go oil here. There's no choice. We have to set the ground on fire because we have no chaff clear. So I don't think we can do anything there. But this round, wait, that's the round where we set the board on fire. This is the round here where we commit to too many phantom rays. He's at 3,300 damage right now. So here we just go for phoenixes. I mean, this is something we've done every single game. Just not sure why we've kind of forgot about our play. And we'll position everything. So I mean, okay, we'll position it in a way that it gets hit by the orbital. But I mean, we know there's an orbital coming, so we can kind of position stuff a little bit out here. Yeah, sell out of this, and usually it's charge shot. We can go range. I mean, we've kind of determined range is better in some situations. It's probably just the safer option. I think the charge shot is better if we had to choose a tech, because you could see with the worms, you know, you definitely don't, you know, you want the charge shot for sure. Even in this situation, like there's nothing, there's you know, these guys have way too much range. Like they're better off. We have a chaff clear problem here, and we might have been able to actually kill the boat if we had charge shot. So I think we're kind of going back, and we're thinking, okay, maybe the level 2 phoenixes, you know, with range sounded good in a vacuum. Okay, so we did 730 damage. Okay, so we did like 1900 there with the shield and the mass phantom ray. That kind of makes sense because it's kind of a power strike spike move. It's one of those things where you're we built our composition, and now we're capitalizing on it with a technology. But I don't think it's the full story here, because if you pay for more than one technology, then the other technologies gets way more expensive. So it's better to have like 2 units with one technology each. And I think, you know, the orbital, we were thinking, okay, the orbital is gonna come down, so we just go for the shield, right? So but that's also a little bit too short-sighted, I think, in terms of like the gameplay long term. Guess we can go for level here. Because if he goes for boats, then you don't want more than 3. You only want oil as the only tech, and anything more is just gonna be useless, right? So we would be in a better position long term if we had the phoenixes, more phoenixes, which means we could just go for the worm play and stuff like that. So instead of going all in onto the phantom rays with the mass numbers and the mass text, it's better to kind of just develop your board a little bit. So you have your back line of phoenixes, which is good into almost all the counters for the phantom ray, except for the wasp. So we did 1100 damage here. It's not as much as you know as what we originally did. Right, we did like almost 2000, 1900, but we are we are in a better position. But that being said, I mean, it's good to get his HP down a little bit. That's always not bad. It's just now we auto lose if he just goes mass mass unit. So here, you know, I think it's fire. You know, we have all the things. We go for fire, and you know, I just don't know of how else we play this. The only other way we play this is if we just go for, like, let's say incendiary instead of the oil here. But You know, incendiary, it's the same cost, and we have so many of these oil guys. We do risk burning ourselves, but look, we've got 3 forward fangs, so we don't burn anything. And this is one of the rare situations where I think now the oil, like on the Phantom Ray, is pretty good because usually we're burning all our own stuff, but here we're burning nothing. Right, so I think I liked our play here. If we have a lot of our own stuff, then you could say maybe the incendiary bomb. You know, it shoots the fire more onto his field. It goes deeper. So yeah, so I think that round was pretty good. I don't know what um really what else really we were meant to do on that round, except for go for the forcing the fire with the very expensive Vulcans. Um, Obviously the wasp play was pretty brilliant from us. Just having the 3 wasp there. It's always chaff. You know, we don't have ground chaff, so it's just like pretty much free air chaff at half the price. Um, all right, so we're gonna remember about the worm for the future, and yeah, like this is gonna be a new part of our play now. The worm. We're gonna see this more and more often. So we're glad to get a win against the best, but we're even more happy to take our strategy to the next level.